Straight lines, sharp angles, and blocks of color are the hallmarks of a Felix Krasyk canvas.
Picasso has always been my mentor from the time I started this thing here. And he and Stuart Davis and a lot of them that, like I say, it's in that abstract book, were the people that actually, for some reason, I understood their art. I have no idea why, but I understood their art. In 2006, I did, I think I did 28. Good. I just couldn't stop. I just started and started. And I did it on ink. I did it on box tops. I did it on typewriter paper. I did it on watercolor paper. I did it on wood. I did it on everything I could think of, you know.
What makes this recent productivity remarkable is it follows a nearly 50-year hiatus. Felix grew up in Charleston, but he was living in New York City when he painted most of his early works in the 1950s.
While I was in New York, being short of money and not having the money to do that you do if you were home and not paying rent and so forth, there wasn't much to do for entertainment. So I started doing painting, and of course Crank was doing painting, and my brother was there for a short while. And I started painting and so forth, and that's the things that I did, and I brought them back with me.
He produced a huge variety of works in New York, 27 in all, from sprawling fantasy landscapes to still lives and portraits.
This is the Rhine Maidens. This was a story about, there was a comedian, her name was Anna Russell, and she did, the only thing I've ever heard her do was her interpretation of opera singers.
The scene opens in the River Rhine. In it, if it were in New York, it would be like the Hudson. And swimming around there are the three Rhine maidens, a sort of aquatic Andrew sister.
It was so hilarious the way she described these things and what they did, and all the racket they made. And of course, in the opera, it's not racket, but she called it racket that they were doing. I kept thinking about it. I just wondered what those three girls looked like. So I started one evening there in New York through boredom. But this is my interpretation of what the three Rhine maidens would look like out in that swamp.
Felix came home to West Virginia in 1959 when his father became ill. He started working at an area department store, creating window displays. Then he opened up his own design store.
I worked all kinds of hours because sometimes I would, even though it was a 9-to-5 job, but many times I'd be working there till 9 o'clock at nighttime doing the work I had to do. And then after that, when we got into the store, well, the store took up all my time. Well, by the time I got home at the evening time, I just didn't feel like dragging out all that paint and so forth. So I just completely divorced myself of it completely.
Those old paintings sat in storage for years until Felix pulled them out 2 years ago. A local art professor liked what he saw, and in the last year, Felix's paintings have been the focus of 3 different exhibits in Charleston galleries.
I guess one of the biggest surprises in my life, because I never dreamed in my life that things that I had done up there could be put in the show.
Now, all but 6 of his old paintings have sold.
After the show, I got to be almost a paintaholic, when they call it that, or sketchaholic. I just did it day and night. I let the house go, I let the yard go. It's the wonder the Borough Board of Health wasn't called on me for the outside, because I just didn't do it. I just couldn't get interested in anything except doing that, because I had been away for so many years, and I thought about doing it, but with my eyes, I thought to myself, there's no way I can do it.
The problem with his eyes was macular degeneration. He was diagnosed about 8 years ago. As his eyesight deteriorated, Felix felt increasingly aimless.
I just felt abandoned. I just felt like I was all about that. I just couldn't do anything else with myself. I had no future to look forward to.
First, he had to give up his decorating duties at church. Then he had trouble writing checks. He got less comfortable leaving his house and watched a lot of TV with his magnifying glass.
It affects your sight when it comes to seeing detail. Like I told you, you're sitting right there, And I can see you sit, but I haven't the faintest idea what you look like. I can't see your face. I can see your head, I can see your arms and so forth, in the same way with the two boys here. But I haven't the faintest idea. When you have macular, I can see my room, I can see the floor, I can see outside, but it's muddled. Instead of seeing a tree with leaves and so forth, I see sort of a mass of green, but just speckles and speckles that gives me the effect of leaves, but not leaves. At one time, I could look at grass and I can't see the blades of grass. I can't. The grass is just a mass of green. And even in my room and so forth, I see my chairs, tables, and lamps and so forth. But it's just like looking. If you took a piece of cellophane and put it over your eyes and lifted it up and tried to see through it, you see everything, but it's all sort of distorted. That's what it looks like.
The condition also means he can't use the same painting techniques from his New York days.
It's almost impossible to take a pen or a brush and put it into any kind of a liquid and try to put it down on a piece of paper and make a straight line or a curve or a circle. There's no way of doing it because you cannot tell when that brush is hitting that paper. And so all I got was splots.
But after showing his art, Felix was determined to get back to producing work.
See, if it takes the time trying to find my... Now let's use this blue one here.
Sitting at his drawing desk now, he alternates picking up rulers or jar tops to trace with grabbing one of his many magnifying glasses to inspect the work.
Those are the things I started with, using circles. Like I said, I'd use different things I could find to make squares and circles and angles, with even pieces of glass and so forth, because that's the only thing I could do to make a straight line, a curved line, or a triangle, what have you.
And that was just the beginning. He started looking for new ways to color in backgrounds because using markers to fill in big spaces became tedious.
If they can use a spray can to do a car or anything else, why can't I use a spray can to do a background on a painting? So I went out and got myself some spray cans and went out in the backyard and got myself some shoe card, and I just started learning how to pressure, take those spray cans and paint and spray, lose how far to take it back to get a wide spray, how close to get it, how I could use taping tapes and making lines, how I could cut out squares out of newspaper, make squares, cut circles, newspaper, and that's how I got my business doing the work I'm doing now.
28 of these new works are the subject of an exhibit this fall at the Purple Moon, a Charleston store and art gallery, and Felix has no plans of taking any more breaks from painting in the future.
To know that they are in people's homes, that I appreciate them and like them, you know, it means a lot. Mm-hmm. And here I am, 80 years old, macular degeneration, and I'm starting all over again. And no matter what, I'll never stop doing it now, because that's all I've done for the last year and a half, is sit at that table over there and just do one thing after another, but enjoying every minute of it.